Yeah, we're doing some comparing tonight, folks. You hear that corny, that cheesy 1990s drum track in the background? Doesn't that sound exactly... Remember that song, I'm So Sexy? Remember Right Said Fred, I'm So Sexy? Exact same track in the background. It's like the same song. The KC and the Sunshine Band, but this is KWS. That effing song was in my head, and it's going to be in your head. It's going to be going around and around in your head when you're doing things. And it's going to be annoying. Then you're just going to have to listen to it. We can cut that out. Yeah, I don't care. Stop spamming my fucking channel, Roxanne, or whatever your name is. I don't care about remote viewing, and I have no idea who you're talking about to begin with. All right? Go tell them. Nobody here needs to believe in such nonsense. This is statement analysis. Not remote viewing. Not Satan worshipping. Heaven's sakes. You go worship the devil somewhere else, girl. You've earned yourself a 30-minute timeout. What's going on tonight, my friends? Doing a little bit of comparing tonight. We're doing some comparisons tonight. You, me, Anon, Natasha. You're excited to have caught a live. You're at the beginning. I'm going to join right now. Well, why don't we all do that? What's going on? You're in Dartmouth? Welcome in. Anon's in Nova Scotia, too. What are you saying, Anon? That looks like a pretty nice bush that you've got. How long till you harvest it? Dude's been growing the stickiest of the icky out in... You're in Truro, aren't you? I'm doxing you, I know. I apologize. I apologize for doxing you on air, but it's okay. We're not going to... It's all done already? It's only September 26th. What on earth? Really? Is it an early... Is it early? Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. Natasha McKay. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to Troll. I appreciate that very much. Welcome, darling. I may as well say hello to you. I'll turn my light on. I'm still under the weather, but we're going to battle through it. Talking to you guys makes me feel better. Oh. That's me pandering to you. Hold on. Hopefully Mike goes live later. I'm doing this live to tell Mike to go live after me. Probably do it like in 10 minutes. Hi, everybody. It's good to see you tonight. So, I don't know how I want to do this tonight, but it's going to be entertaining. It's going to be worth watching. We talk about it all the time. And I put that grok to some good use, and I set up my statement detection, or my statement analysis machine up there. It's a little bit more. It's cross-referencing all of the statements. I finally found a good use for AI. And boy, did it ever come up with something, and you've got to hear it. We're going to watch it, though, because, you ever play, or you ever remember watching on Sesame Street that game that play, that visual game, one of these things isn't quite like the other? Well, that's going to be essentially Daniel in all of this. He's the one thing that doesn't quite seem like the others, only because he's the only one tonight we're going to watch without a murder conviction. Hint, hint. And it's a great place for you to remember exactly. Many of you have been through each and every one of these cases. You were there. You've experienced it step by step. And you remember how you were feeling at that moment in time, and how thirsty you were for information, and how different of a state of mind that you were in. And there's where our learning begins. Let me pull this up. So I got watching it, and so many things stuck out to me. And the more that we focus on, whether it be statement analysis, the PLAGES framework, the adaptation by Mike DeMann, which is priority, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deceptions, sensitivities. 6. Well, there's 10 key principles in Peter Hyatt's, and it's not too much different. It just frames it in a different framework, but it's just as structured, just as organized. And because everybody loves Peter, we're going to constantly apply that framework in and along with our PLAGES. It's just nicer to listen to because it gives an honor, and it continues the purpose of what Peter Hyatt was really intending to do, and it was capturing the minds of people who were just like you or I at one point or another before we found statement analysis. And it always happens to be in and around cases that hit you emotionally for whatever reason. You stumble into this stupid true crime genre, or you stumble into these particular scenarios, and it's a different world. It's a whole new world to you to a degree, or something more opens up. You get that a lot. That's very common, and we've all been there. Listen to me dismiss it. Just a second. I'm doing 3 things at once. I'm not doing it very well. Hold on. Well, can I pull this up? What's wrong with you? Holy shit. How many times do I got to click this thing? Let's see. What the fuck? Oh, I know why. Hold on.
Uh-oh, retard alert. Retard
Sorry, I
alert,
apologize.
class.
Let's see. Just do that. But I don't want that screen. I don't want that screen. Excuse me. I want this screen, the one with Chris on it. There we go. Sorry about that. Jesus, Murphy, what the heck? Good to see you, Tony. Welcome in tonight. Sorry I'm ignoring you guys. I had to sort that out. You would have thought that I would have got that ready before I came up. I thought it was there. But of course I've been doing all kinds of weird things on different... It happens when you've got so many things open. It's probably ramming out my system, loading up my system. So I don't know how I want to do this. So on this particular channel right now, I think in our minds, Daniel Martell's interview is fairly fresh in our mind, and it doesn't require, going over and boring you or necessarily right away. It's not the intent. We know, and it's fresh in our minds. Should read you one of the breakdowns about the comparisons, maybe prepare you a little bit for what it is you're going to hear. So the Chris Watts media interview, and what I did was take all of the media interviews, all of the the statements by the perpetrators who were all in the same boat, had the same intention. 3 of them have been found guilty in a court of law. And there's so many similarities. And things are going to stand out to you, new things. That's why I'm doing it, because I love those new things that stand out. However, I've got to present it too, so I'll be preoccupied, so I'll have to rewatch. Anyway, I won't sidetrack too much. Chris Watts is about 15 minutes, so it's not extraordinarily long. Leticia Stauch is about 12 minutes. Trezelle's about 10-12 minutes. And Daniel's about 7 minutes. Good evening, Pink Roses 777. So I'll give you a brief overview before we start listening. So this analysis compares the statements of 4 suspects, Daniel Martell, Chris Watts, Trezell West, and Letecia Stauch, across the respective interviews, focusing on linguistic patterns and behavioral cues indicative of deception or withheld information. The comparison applies Peter Hyatt's principles of statement analysis in the PLAGES framework, which are priority, leakage, avoidance, intentions, deception, and sensitivities. This is Mike Demand's adaptation shout out. To identify similarities and differences in the responses, particularly in the context of missing persons cases involving children, and in Watt's case, his wife. The suspects are Daniel Martell, who was interviewed about the disappearance of Jack and Lily, suspected of involvement at this point in time. Chris Watts, interviewed about the disappearance of his wife, Shanann, and daughters Bella and Celeste, later convicted of their murders. Trezell West, interviewed with Jacqueline West about the disappearance of their adoptive sons, Orrin and Orson West, later convicted of their murders. Leticia Stauch, interviewed about the disappearance of her stepson, Gannon Stauch, later convicted of his murder. This analysis focuses on common themes, linguistic markers, and deceptive behaviors organized by Hyatt's principles and the PLAGES categories, with references to specific transcript excerpts. So this is what I spent the rest of my afternoon doing, if you were wondering. Peter Hyatt's principles applied across all suspects. Starting with expected versus unexpected behavior from Daniel Martell. Daniel displays unexpected behavior by expressing happiness about the cadaver dog's searches, focusing on reducing social media scrutiny rather than urgency for Jack and Lily's safety. His lack of personal grief when discussing the school bus is inconsistent with the innocent guardian's expected anguish. Chris Watts shows detached behavior, emphasizing police efforts over personal distress. His emotional pleas, "I just want them back," feel rehearsed and lack specific details, unlike the urgent, heartfelt pleas expected from an innocent spouse. Trezell West prioritizes gratitude for community support and justifying the open gate narrative over expressing distress for Orson and Orrin. His concession that foul play accusations are understandable is highly unexpected for an innocent parent. Leticia refuses to discuss Gannon's disappearance, focusing on public accusations and police mistreatment, which is unexpected from a stepmother seeking her missing stepson. Her plea lacks urgency and specificity. So all suspects exhibit unexpected behavior by prioritizing external factors, community perception, accusations, over urgent concern for the missing individuals. Martell and Watts focus on police procedure, while West and Stauch emphasize public scrutiny, suggesting a shared tendency to deflect from personal involvement. West's concession to foul play and Stauch's outright refusal to discuss the case are particularly bold deflections, contrasting with Martell and Watts' attempt to fey hope. Now, before we get into it too far, pronoun usage. Daniel Martell shifts between I and we in denials. For example, I didn't do anything, or we didn't kill the kids. Diluting personal accountability. The ambiguous three people on the property statement avoids clarifying others' involvement. Chris Watts uses I consistently, but drops pronouns when describing his family's absence. Example, nothing was here and nobody was here. Chris is distancing himself from the event. Trezell West shifts I, for example, from the statement, I saw them, to we. We were entrusted, sharing responsibility with Jacqueline, who remains largely silent, suggesting a controlled narrative. Leticia uses I for personal grievances, but shifts to we when discussing the hike or family efforts. For example, we ate Burger King. Leticia potentially implicating others. Example, her daughter, to dilute responsibility. All suspects use collective pronouns we to share or dilute responsibility. particularly when addressing critical events. For example, Daniel Martell's denial, West's gate narrative, and Stauch's hike. Watts is the most consistent with I, but employs pronoun avoidance to distance himself from the disappearance. West and Leticia's reliance on we aligns with involving family members like Jacqueline or Hartley. This is to bolster their narratives, while Martell's ambiguity about three people suggests additional withheld information. We want to talk about sensitivity indicators from Daniel. He uses hedges like I mean and I guess, and emphatic phrases like 100%, indicating discomfort with his certainty about cadaver dogs and hope claims in his latest interview. Chris Watts frequently uses like or just or I mean, weakening his emotional claims and timeline descriptions. Trezell employs okay, actually, and that's no, signaling stress, particularly around the gate narrative and foul play accusations. And Leticia uses the statement you know, or really, and repetition never, never, ever, indicating discomfort with scrutiny and her denials. All suspects exhibit sensitivity through hedges and qualifiers, with like and you know common across Watts, Martell, and Leticia. Trezell's broken syntax is unique but aligns with the others' discomfort when addressing critical events. Martell's 100% and Stauch's never, never, ever are emphatic, suggesting a need to convince, while Watts and West use more subtle weaknesses. Speaking about temporal gaps and missing information from Daniel, he omits details about the critical period when Jack and Lily disappeared, focusing on police searches and his own actions later, for example, cooperating. Chris Watts skips the period between leaving at 5:15 a.m. and Nicole's arrival at 12:10 p.m., avoiding the time when he killed his family. Trezell West lacks specifics about the time between seeing Orrin and Orson and noticing their absence, focusing on the open gate and his search efforts. Leticia avoids detailing the hike or Gannon's activities afterward, relying on her daughter's verification to establish a timeline. Now, all suspects exhibit significant temporal gaps during the critical periods of the disappearance, a hallmark of deception per Peter Hyatt. Martell and Watts focus on later events, police searches, friends' arrival, while West and Stauch emphasize extreme validations, such as the gate or her daughter's testimony. To avoid the incriminating moments, this shared avoidance suggests knowledge of what happened during these gaps. Speaking about minimization and deflection, from Daniel Martell, he minimizes public scrutiny as ridiculous and deflects to police efforts and polygraphs, avoiding personal responsibility. Chris Watts deflects to police efforts and public opinions, minimizing his role by framing the disappearance as a mystery. For example, he uses the term vanished. Trezell West minimizes negligence by framing the open gate as an oversight and deflects to police orders and community support. Leticia deflects to police misconduct and online witch hunts, minimizing her role by claiming victimhood. All suspects deflect scrutiny to external factors. Martell and Watts to police, West to police, and community Stauch to police and online rumors. Minimization is evident in Martell's dismissal of scrutiny, Chris Watts' vague term vanished or use of it, West's gate excuse, and Leticia's victim narrative indicating a shared strategy to avoid accountability. We want to talk about leakage when it comes to Daniel Martell in his latest interview. The statement 100% they won't find anything, and the statement if they're not still alive. suggests knowledge that Jack and Lily are not on the property or alive. With Chris Watts' use of the term vanished, and if they're not safe, and past tense references, for example, I wasn't going to kiss them, indicate knowledge of his family's death. Or deaths. Now, Trezell, they're not walking around, his term, they're not walking around, and the use of the term find a babysit may reveal knowledge that Orson and Oren are deceased or concealed. From Leticia, when she said, he is not dead, and you'll be able to truly tell what happened. Oh, that's what Daniel used the other day in that Facebook Uncensored group underneath that comment about that coat. You'll be able to truly tell what happened when the truth comes out. Yeah, about that winter coat and the jacket. Oh, yeah, when the truth comes out, Daniel. Excuse me. So from Letecia Stauch talking about leakage, her use of the term he is not dead and the term you'll be able to truly tell what happened suggest awareness that Gannon cannot speak, aligning with his death. All suspects exhibit leakage, suggesting knowledge of the victim's fates. Martell and Watts use conditionals, such as the term if they're not alive or safe, while West and Stauch make direct statements implying death, like, quote, not walking around and not dead. These leaks consistently point to awareness that the missing individuals are not alive, aligning with their guilt. Speaking about consistency in context with Daniel Martell, he contradicts his claim of hope by dismissing the wandering scenario, suggesting he knows Jack and Lily did not wander off. Chris Watts contradicts texting and calling Shanann with her later admission of unaliving her, and his hope claim with past tense references. Trezell West contradicts the gate narrative with the claim that the boys did not just roam around, undermining the wandering story. Leticia Stauch contradicts her cooperation claim with complaints of non-compliance, and her hike timeline is vague and reliant on her daughter. All suspects display inconsistencies between their stated hope and narrative details. Martell and West contradict their wandering scenarios. Chris Watts' actions contradict his timeline, and Leticia's cooperation claim conflicts with her police complaints. These inconsistencies suggest fabricated narratives. Talking about past tense versus present tense, from Daniel Martell, he uses present tense for hope, but implies resignation with using the term, that's all we have is hope. Chris Watts uses present tense for hope, but past tense for routines. For example, I wasn't going to kiss them, suggesting knowledge of death. Trezell uses present tense for the boy's behavior, and by using the term and the way, they're not walking around, implying death. Leticia uses present tense, such as using the term he is not dead, but the please phrasing by using the term truly tell what happened suggests Gannon cannot speak. Watts and West show stronger past tense leakage, directly implying death, while Martell and Stauch maintain present tense, but with resigned or odd phrasing that undermines hope. All suggest some awareness of the victim's fates. Speaking about the economy of their language, from Daniel Martell, provides unnecessary details about search efforts and polygraphs, bolstering his narrative. From Chris Watts, he over-explains police efforts, routines, and distancing from the disappearance. Trezell West details the gate and search efforts as excessively and focusing on the irrelevant actions. Leticia over-explains police mistreatment and Gannon's traits, avoiding the disappearance. All suspects violate economy of language by providing excessive details about secondary issues, like police searches routines, to appear cooperative or sympathetic, avoiding the core event of the disappearance. talking about open-ended questions from Daniel Martell, he responds to, what did you make of the investigation? With vague cooperation claims, lacking depth. Chris Watts responded to, what happened? A vague timeline focusing on Nicole's arrival rather than his own actions. Trezell West responded to the open-ended question, which was, what happened the night the kids went missing? With a detailed but gapped gate narrative. Leticia Stauch refuses to answer, what did you see? Deflecting to community unity, avoiding any case details. All suspects provide vague or deflected responses to open-ended questions, with Stauch's outright refusal being the most blatant. Martell and Watts focus on external events, while West and Stauch, whatever your name is, rely on rehearsed narratives or validations, like the gate or her daughter. Let's start listening, and we'll go and throw some PLAGES here and there throughout it. I don't want to start boring all you people to death. Welcome in, by the way. It's good to see you. I'm glad you came in. I guess you want to watch a little bit of the man, Chris Watts himself, right now. Do you want to see some of this? You want to take a look? You want to watch? You want to scrutinize? Oh, yeah, he's going to... What are you saying, CB? Drunk Turkey's going to be interviewing Daniel next weekend? Fantabulous. That's great. You can bullshit us all again. Thanks for telling us that.
Watts. W-A-T-T-S.
Wow. What's going on right now around your house?
Right now you got K9 units, the sheriff's department. Everybody's like they're doing their best right now to figure out like if they can get a scent, see where they went. If they went on foot, they went in a car, or they went somewhere. And right now it's just like they've been on point. They're going through the house trying to get a scent, and hopefully they can pick something up to where it's going to lead to something.
What happened? Your wife came home. Tell me what's.
She came home from the airport 2 a.m. and I left around 5:15. She was still here, and like about 12:10 in that afternoon, her friend Nicole showed up at the door. Like I had texted Shanann a few times that day, called her, say, but she never got back to me. But she wasn't getting back to any of her people as well, and that's what really concerned a lot of people. Is like if she's not getting back to her, like if she doesn't get back to me, that's fine. Like she gets busy during the day, but she didn't get back to her people, which was very concerning. And Nicole called me when she was at the door, and that's when I came home. And then walked in the house, and nothing has vanished. Nothing was here. I mean, she wasn't here. The kids weren't here. Nope, nobody was here.
What's your wife's name?
Shanann, S-H-A-N-A-N-N.
What's your kids' name?
Bella and Celeste.
How do you spell Celeste?
C-E-L-E-S-T-E.
How old are your daughters?
4. Bella's 4. Celeste is 3.
And so, how many times did you try calling her?
I called her 3 times, texted her about 3 times, just to say, what's going on. Like because after I called her and texted her once, it's like maybe she was just busy. Like she had just gotten back. Like everybody's probably calling her from her trip. She just got back from Arizona, and I figured she was just busy. But when her friend showed up, that's what it was like. It registered. Like, all right, this isn't right.
Do you think she just took off? Do you think?
I mean, right now I don't even want to just like throw anything out there. Like, I hope that she's somewhere safe right now and with the kids.
Wow.
But I mean, could she just taken off? I don't know. But if somebody has her and they're not safe, like I want them back now. Like that's what's in my head. Like if they're safe right now, they're gonna come back. But if they're not safe right now, that's the not knowing part. Like if they're not safe, last night I had every light in the house on. I was hoping that I would just ran over by the kids running in the door and just like barrel rushing me, but it didn't happen. And it was just a traumatic night trying to be here.
I'm gonna ask some kind of tough questions about your relationship with your kids.
My kids are my life. I mean, those smiles light up my life. And last night, like during like when they usually eat dinner, it was just like I missed them. Like I mean, I missed telling them, hey, you got to eat that or you're not going to get your dessert, and just like you're not going to get your snack after. I missed that. Like I missed them, cuddle up on their couches. They have like a Minnie Mouse couch and a Sophia couch that they cuddle up on and watch, Bubble Guppies or something. And it was just like, I was, it was tearing me apart last night, and I needed that. I needed that last night, and for nobody to be here last night and to go into their rooms and know that I wasn't going to turn the rain machines on. And I know that I wasn't going to turn their monitor on. And know I wasn't going to kiss them to bed tonight. It was. That's why last night was just horrible. I couldn't do it.
Dude, he's got some laughing going on. He doesn't know quite what to feel. He's detached from his emotions, isn't he? What do you think?
I want everybody to just come home. Like wherever they're at, come home. That's what I want.
Where was she gone for? She was on. She came back Sunday. You said at 2 at night.
Yeah, because her flight got delayed from Arizona because of like other storms around the nation. So she's supposed to get home like 11. She got home at like 1:48. She got in bed about 2.
What was she going for? Like family trip or what?
It was a Thrive direct sales. It was a local event that was down there between a bunch of leaders in the company.
And that day she was back. I mean,
I left work early that morning, like 5:15, 5:30. So like she barely gotten into bed pretty much.
And this might be a tough question, but did you guys get into an argument before she left?
It wasn't like an argument. We had an emotional conversation, but I'll leave it at that. But I just want them back. I just want them to come back. And if they're not safe right now, that's what's tearing me apart. Because if they are safe, they're coming back. But if they're not, this has got to stop. Like somebody has to come forward.
What? What the hell is he trying to say? Daniel does a lot of that juggling too. Handing us a big bowl of Swiss cheese. Got to line up those holes in the cheese.
You spoken to her family, like her parents?
Yeah, they've been in constant contact, like every hour. I mean, everybody back in North Carolina and the East Coast.
Yeah, right, Mr. Hemme.
I mean, from Maine to Florida.
What is her parents saying to you? Like,
they're just like if they need to get on a flight, just let them know. Because I mean, they feel helpless right now because they're on the opposite side of the country. I mean, Colorado is. I mean, you can't just drive around and look. I mean, it's just like you wouldn't really know what you're looking for. That's what the cops pretty much told me. That first day, I was like, I want to get out and drive around. They said, you wouldn't know what to look for.
Last couple questions. What is law enforcement? What have the police or the sheriffs or your neighbors? What's police saying to you?
Right
His
now,
cameraman's onto him.
What they're doing right now is with the canines in the sense. I think this is the biggest thing. This is the biggest thing they've done so far because yesterday the Frederick Police Department did all the searching of the house and tried to gather whatever information they could. And with the detectives, officers, and sergeants, and today it's, I mean, obviously with all the activity that's around, there's a lot going on around here, and I really hope that all of this can lead to something positive.
What did your neighbors? Did they see anything? Did your neighbors see anything?
No, like the police department went door to door asking like cameras and everything, just like nothing.
And my last question, if you have any of them, so feel free to step in. My last question is, if your wife can see this, if she can watch these, what would you like to tell your wife and your kids?
Shanann, Bella, Celeste, if you're out there, just come back. Like, if somebody has her, just please bring her back. I need to see everybody. I need to see everybody again. This house is not complete without anybody here. Please bring her back.
That's it. I can take that mic off you.
Yeah, my God. A little uncomfortable. It's from Denver 7. Are you ready for this one? Now remember, there's a big asterisk on this next one with Leticia, guys. This baddie one. Oh my God. Letecia Stauch had to take a double take of this particular interview. Like she already did the interview and then insisted on doing it again and them using the second, disposing of the first. So there's really two versions of this. In one, she doesn't cry, and in the second one, she put on the tears. Can you believe it? I gotta find that.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about...
Who does that remind you of? Who does that remind us of? Must have taken it word for word right from this interview, Daniel. Oh.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him.
Do you hear that inflection on this guy? It's because it's a different take. He seems different. Let me see that again.
Leticia Stauch, which is Gannon's stepmother.
You've been a part of the investigation since the very first time. You were the last person to see him. Is that right?
Correct.
What did you see when you last saw him?
Well, I'm not allowed to talk about anything with the case. I would more so be willing to talk about how the community needs to have faith and continue to work together and not make these false accusations, like the things that have been said that I've disappeared from the community. I haven't been there to help, but there's lots of reasons behind that.
Reasons like death threats, right?
Right. Death threats are one of them. My family's getting lots of death threats. We counted over 20-some death threats already. Two, my
20.
husband's ex-wife is living in our home, and of course I'm not coming home to do these things and to help with the family when I was kind of like told I couldn't. And then many other things that happened with the El Paso County Police Department, you know, and in doing the investigation I was told I wasn't complying. And could I elaborate on that?
Please do.
Yes. So I asked for an attorney during the interview, and I was denied that by them. I was held because they were blocking the door, and I was told I couldn't leave, and that if I would have touched them, they would have probably, you know, said I still wasn't complying or said I was, you know, trying to run away or something. But during the interview, I asked several times, could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? Could I stop the interview? Could I get an attorney? I was denied. I was told I couldn't get nothing to drink. I couldn't go to the bathroom. I mean, it was continuously that my constitutional rights were violated.
And that's why you say that they said then you weren't cooperating with the investigation.
That's why they said I wasn't cooperating at that time, correct.
And why did you ask for an attorney at the time?
Well, I asked for an attorney at the time because there was one individual, there was two really good detectives, and so I'm not, you know, going to talk bad about detectives, but the tactics they started to get when I would answer questions, they try to, you know, they're detectives, they're supposed to twist, the one main goal is to find Gannon. But during that time, some of those things made me feel uncomfortable the way they were saying things, so I immediately stopped and felt like an attorney would help me with some of the vocabulary and things like that I needed help with and understanding some of the things that they were asking.
I'm going to shift gears to what has become a huge online presence of people
Right.
obviously trying to do the right thing, help find Gannon. But at the same time, sometimes it just feels like rumor mongering. Have you seen any of those comments yourself?
We have, and see, that's one of the main things we haven't been around in the public eye because I didn't want to expose my family to it if all these things were going on. You know, there was comments about Gannon getting pushed off the hike, and there was comments about this, and that's just not true. I took care of Gannon for the last 2 years in our home because his mother didn't want to do it. And I would never, ever hurt this child. And I know there's some questions out there about, okay, so tell me what happens. That's up to the investigations when they end up letting you guys know. But I've cooperated with them, even to the point that we were held with a gun. And my daughter, a 17-year-old who serves our country in the United States Air Force, who has never committed a crime or done anything wrong in her life, was put in handcuffs over the keys that was in her purse so they could take her car.
And they weren't in there?
They weren't even in her car. I mean, in her purse.
And
they were in my pocket.
You originally didn't even know it was the law enforcement officers?
I didn't know it was a law enforcement officer because when he came out, I guess he was putting his jacket on, and it wasn't necessarily his fault. He was adjusting and happened to catch me. But I saw the gun, and I panicked originally and kind of thought, oh gosh, I got to, like, who's this guy? And then once I realized it was the sheriff's office, I was totally okay, but they still had a gun and told me they were going to shoot me. But I was really concerned about my daughter, asking why she was being detained in handcuffs and things like that, when that shouldn't even happen for a child. That shouldn't happen for someone who was standing inside of a store shopping, because we couldn't have any clothes because all of our clothes were here. If we came here and got clothes, you know, we would be harassed. So she went to purchase some underwear and things like that and was put in the handcuffs in the store, you know, and then brought out with men with guns. And that's just not okay. You know, they could have approached me and said, hi, I'm with El Paso County. Can I please get this? Instead of the way that it happened.
I'm just going to check your shot. Doing great. Want to make sure that we're
Yeah, but no,
good on
but yeah, but
recordings,
no,
that we
but.
hear you okay? Okay, yeah, sounds like we're good. Every once in a while my mic will give out, and I want to make sure that's not going to happen here. Okay. I should try and clarify here. Not necessarily crime rates, but the way that people are reacting online to rumors about you with the search.
Oh yes, wow. The rumors have gotten so bad. I pretty much have been told at least 10 different ways that these people have these conspiracy theories. I guess they watch a lot of law shows and maybe they have all these theories on how Gannon is dead. And that's what they're saying. So I'm like, why are you saying Gannon is dead? He is not dead. We are going to find Gannon. And that's the main goal that we all have. My family has. Just because you haven't seen us, we have that same goal. We've been out searching. My aunt has been out searching. My family has been out searching. We all have been doing that together so that we could protect each other.
How does it feel when not only you have a lost child who you are in care of, but then people blaming you for that child not being there?
You know, I'm just ready for Gannon to come home. Most importantly, for him to see his family. But second, I am going to be so ecstatic when I'm able to say to people that I hope they have a really sincere apology for all these theories that have came out online, for all the things they said that I have done or people have done. And I just want everyone to know that we're going to find Gannon. And I love him so much. I've helped taking care of him for so long.
Can you talk to me a little bit about him? I don't know him.
Gannon is so kind, and he loves to play video games. That's one of his favorite things. He loves Sonic and Mario, and you know, he's always helpful, and he was always so helpful with the dogs around the house, and we have 2 little cute dogs, and he was always like a person I could say, Gannon, can you go do this? And he would do it right away. You know, sometimes with kids we have to remind them and things like that, and that's okay, but he was so sweet and able to help anyone. He could notice when you're sick and say, are you okay? And such a kind heart.
I know you just said that you can't say anything about the investigation, so you can just say so again if you can't answer this. But is there anything we can hear about the hike? Was there a hike? That just seems like rumors right now.
You know what? Could we bring my daughter up here? Because she can go and say
those
that
phone calls with
she came
Leticia
home from work after the hike, and she can verify that Gannon was at our home.
Okay, yeah, that's fine with me. And if she doesn't want to, that's okay, but you're allowed to.
That's fine.
You want to see deception at its finest. The conversation between Al and her, and those phone calls that are available on YouTube are great watches as well. Thank you for bringing that up and reminding me, by the way. C. Taylor, high five. You say AI, Alan Iverson. Al cooperated with law enforcement to record his calls with Leticia, you say. Her words 100 gave her evil self away. And Leticia's prison phone calls. Wow, she's next level. I'm not sure if I heard any of the prison phone calls. Girl, are you fronting? Shit. I gotta search into that. I have to write that down. Put that in the back of my memory there. Thank you very much.
Sound okay so far?
Yes. I need Harley. Because they want you to verify was Gannon at home after the hike. Because you didn't go to the hike, but you came home from work.
Do you want me to just say yes?
No, just answer the question. Yes, you came home from work and you can verify Gannon was at home. Yeah. I told her she didn't have to be too in depth because she is still.
Shit, there's some coaching going on right there. That was coaching there, Leticia. That wasn't, that was pretty slick though.
You know, a child, but I want to make sure that someone knows that there's another person to verify that Gannon.
Sure.
Does she need to hold this?
No.
Yes, so I came home later that evening. I was at work, and I can verify that he was there that night.
So there was a hike that you guys went on, but then you guys came home.
Yes.
Where'd you guys go hiking?
Garden of the Gods.
Oh, yes. Okay. I guess when
And then we ate Burger King afterwards, so, you know.
there you go.
Yeah.
And then it just was, I'm gonna go to play at a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things.
See, this is what I feel Daniel Martell is going to do in time, eventually, coming up very shortly. It's the only option for him. The Letecia way. He loves to say that he's, you know, he can't share certain information because it's going to impede the investigation, of course. I mean, I don't see any other alternative for Daniel. That's going to be ultimately something that comes out of his mouth, I believe. Let's listen to that again.
And twisted, and you know that was one of those.
I'm gonna go to play.
Yeah, but he can incorporate that into social media as well. Oh, I just don't feel comfortable because of what it is that you've been saying. By the way, you know what's really funny about the CBC Nova Scotia? You sent me that clip. You know who you are out there. You sent me that clip about, it's like a 7-minute clip from that Heather who interviewed Daniel talking about the family turning to social media. They're still going with this title. Doesn't that title almost give it away, that the game that they're playing with Daniel in that sense? Daniel's not their family. Daniel is not family to Jack and Lily. Jack and Lily's family turning to social media. I didn't watch the whole thing because I probably couldn't stomach it. But the parts that I did, I noted that they were, you know, featuring Sonny in all of this, and they were bringing up the fact that there's money associated with this particular type of case, trying to make the point, and then a Google AdSense commercial hit, right? So if you go and watch that, you get 2 commercials. CBC is making the same money off the same cases, talking the same way, portraying it to be something that's even new. Nobody even watches them anymore. People are all on YouTube and on their social medias watching things of interest. It's just so buffoon-ish. There's a lot of buffoonery involved. You know, you want to bring up and make it look like want to make it look a certain way for the viewer. Meanwhile, you're making more money off of it, you motherfucker. Okay, you're making the same AdSense money. And it's as though they don't even take that into consideration. It's that they have to represent it as something that it's not on a continuous basis. They have an agenda at the CBC, and it makes me cringe. CBC's always made me cringe, but more so in 2025. Don't get me wrong, I love CBC when I'm out in the middle of buttfuck Idaho, and it's the only radio station you can get in. I've always grown up with it. I loved it, but it's been tainted by the elitists. They need a little manpower around there. Hell's going on up in here. But let's not get sidetracked. So this is Letecia. Her daughter will continue.
At a friend's house. And then it was just, I'm off to go to play at a friend's house.
Unfortunately, I'm not able to like comment on that anymore, and for that reason is because some things have been turned and twisted, and you know that was one of those stories you were talking about where people say things. We had to hear things like who would let their child go out at dark and things like that, and that's just why I don't want to answer that. If I had to give, I'm not gonna say that part.
That's okay.
Never mind.
Right.
I could take that out.
I understand that it gets tricky with stuff.
Look at that.
Do you feel like I asked you what I need to? Do you feel like this is going to help kind of turn the tide?
She's so manipulative, isn't she? She's so manipulative. That's why she does shit like that, to test her out, to give you the unexpected, to see how you're going to react. She's very manipulative. Could you imagine what Al went through? What in the hell? How many Leticias out there are there? God darn it. It's probably not the way to look at it. I know. Hey, Ann, be good to see you, darling.
What feels like a witch hunt, in my opinion.
I hope am I on camera now?
You are still.
Okay. I think that a lot of people can see that I'm not missing and see that I am being cooperative, but to me it's okay that they think those things, because the way someone thinks about me, I don't have a problem with that. My main thing is I would never want someone to think that I would hurt Gannon or any of the children in our home, because that's just not the case. I've spent my whole entire life working so hard in education. There was even things online that was talking about my education license and I shouldn't even be a teacher, and they just didn't know that. Like, we moved on a military move and I didn't finish out my contract, so I gave up my license in that state. It had nothing to do with any criminal activity, or any of those things, and it just got blown out of proportion on my professional status.
Probably stealing staplers.
Do you feel like these are just internet detectives who think they know what they're doing?
It definitely is. And here's the thing.
How many times do you hear reporters bring that up? And do you know how many times can internet, detectives, so to speak, or sleuths out there, or people out there, they're right every time. The big old pat on the back, the salute. It's rhetorical. It's rhetoric. It's garbage. It's propaganda that they use in the moment to try to measure out the suspect, But from the third party, if you're not involved, it looks, you get frustrated with it. Like, people react to the headlines type of thing. But who's the guy with the flat top? He's a reporter, Silver Gold. He's a reporter from Denver, Channel 7, I believe.
That kind of saddens me. It's like, if you're going to talk about someone like that and have a witch hunt out for them, why would you even care, about doing those things? Because this is a child. You're telling me that you're just as mean, you're just as hateful to talk about someone else like that. That's how I feel. Like, we should all come together and wait until the end and see what happens, because Gannon's going to come home.
Any message for Gannon?
The message for Gannon I have is, Gannon, when you get here, you'll be able to truly tell what happened. And then I really hope I get a sincere apology from everyone who has made all those things, especially from my husband.
Oh, Jesus, Murphy. She's not a manipulative little one, isn't she? Oh, my God. Can you believe it? It's just disgusting. Did you just feel the knife go through your back? That's Leticia. She's evil in that sense. She is truly an evil individual. All of that and just that little trailer at the end was just something else. You're going to owe me an apology for all of the things that I'm telling you that you're putting me through. She's like an insurance scammer, man. She slipped on the carpet. And she wants to sue the grocery store in that sense. Heaven's sakes. This woman is something else. Leticia. I wonder if she ever got that apology from Al. Jesus, how many things does she want to hurt this man with at this point in time? Like, even subconsciously, she knows that she's unalived Gannon, but yet she's still, in the moment, is taking the opportunity in front of the reporter to send out a dagger to him of how him especially is going to owe her an apology, not to mention all of the cyber sleuths out there. And by the way, that's exactly what Janie McKenzie said, in not so many words. Man, it certainly all rhymes, doesn't it? No, Annette Conway. This guy interviewing Leticia? No, this is in Colorado. Her comment is to shut down social media mission 1. Have you guys apologized to Leticia Stauch yet? Have you guys issued your apologies on your pages? I'll be expecting some. Remember in court, says Anne? Remember in court when she sat there covering her face with her hair? Looking like the girl from the movie The Ring? Yeah, she goes into this crazy... I remember the first time I watched the police body camera footage of her getting arrested, and she was malingering. That's about as textbook malingering as you get, pretending in front of the cops in that sense that you're crazy when you're really not. You're putting on a performance. And she started attacking that female cop, but in a way that's not really attacking. Like, what is up with her? It was the most bizarre display. I don't think I would have thought anybody would have done something as dumb as that. But it tells you, it has to speak to the level of desperation and her persistence and her psychopathy, right? Like, she's got a real issue with that. That's like a trait that a stalker would have. Poor Al. I'm like thinking, this poor Al must have went through absolute hell. Not to mention Gannon, of course. We heard slices of that. Something out of this world. The way it played out was like that movie, that Hitchcock movie. Is that Hitchcock? The Many Faces of Eve? You remember that old movie?
We just wanted to add a message to Gannon from my family, is that we love you and miss you, and we hope that you come home soon. And Gannon, I can't wait till you can come home and let everyone know that you're okay. We love you.
Holy mackerel. Tisha. Got that from Aaron in Wonderland's channel, by the way. The adoptive parents of missing California city boys Orrin and Orson West speak to the media December 23rd, 2021. Or this is December 23rd, 2020, excuse me.
Everyone in the community for all the support we've seen. We've felt so helpless. And seeing everybody out here really looking and helping out really means a lot.
So, tell us what happened the night that kids went missing.
Okay. From our yard.
Okay. Trezelle, you're already shitting your pants. You already gave away. He's already ruined it. He's got a muster. Okay, just a question. You've got to think about it. Oh my God. He's shaking his pants. He's shitting himself. Am I going to be able to do this? Don't fuck this up. I think I've already fucked it up. I think I'm overthinking it.
It was cold. I was going to make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here.
So, the fact that he goes into this great detail about the story about this open gate rather than what happened to the boys, and it has nothing, and doesn't even mention the boys. His story that he's trying to tell right here. Sorry to interrupt. Let's just listen. I'll shut up.
It was cold. I was going to make a fire. There's a lot of wood in this area right here next to our house. I opened up the back gate. I'm throwing wood, bringing it inside the house. My wife's inside. She was actually wrapping gifts, so we thought it was a good idea that our youngest two go outside and play with chalk on the back patio. Do not let them go on the dirt in the backyard. We keep them close. So I was playing with chalk, and I came in the house. I saw them there. I went in the house. I came back out. I didn't see them now. I immediately went back in, asked my wife, did you see the boys? She said, no, they should be outside playing with chalk. I said, well, I didn't see them, so I came back outside and I started searching my backyard. I searched the whole thing. I realized that I left the gate open and I panicked, came inside the house, searched the house, me and my wife. Once that didn't pan out, I got in the van. I looked.
Do you know what's so eerily familiar? Sorry to interrupt Trezelle and everybody who is listening, but I know you've all heard it before. listen, you know what's so eerily familiar is the timeline. They prioritize themselves ahead of even rationale behind the timeline in that sense. Because when you're talking about Oren and Orson, a 3 and a 4-year-old kid cannot possibly get that far within 10, 15 minutes, especially when everybody's backyards are fenced in and just your gate open. Thank God Mike's video camera showed the entire street and there was no activity at that time. Kids weren't even there. They could look back on it to days earlier. The kids weren't even there. But nonetheless, the point is this assumption that you're to believe, okay? You're to believe that the kids voluntarily left the premises. Well, he wants you to believe in this instance that they were on the back patio playing with chalk. And they just decided to take off outside the gate. 1, they would have been seen on video camera. 2, they weren't. Nobody was there to take them. But it presents the same scenario as Daniel really wants to leave our minds dangling in. Exact same scenario. The exact same. In the exact same way, in the same fashion. It's up to you to come to the determination that the kids have wandered away, even though he wants to also present all of the other rationale why he doesn't believe they're in the woods anymore, and the cadaver dogs have no chance of finding anything so early. Well, he's again prioritizing his own innocence over the fate of the children. That's a big tell, son. Good to see you, JC. I lost my train of thought.
Looked down the street, both directions. It was getting dark, getting cold, and I got in the van and I hit a bunch of corners. I went down this street. I turned my light on. I searched. I called their names. Talked to a gentleman on the street on the other side over there. He didn't see me. So then I came home and I told my wife we need to call the cops. It's getting dark and I need help. We gotta get going. So I called the cops. Cops came. First thing they did was tell us to stay in the house so they can get a hold of us. And they had us just sitting there, and we wanted to keep searching. But everybody came out in droves, and I wanted to thank you guys that night, but we couldn't go outside.
The cops told us the best are out here.
The best are out here searching, and we appreciate it, and nobody ever could tell, we could never talk to anybody.
Yeah, that doesn't stink like a rehearsed story, does it? That was about as matched as a rap song. What, were you guys playing Guitar Hero inside? Were you guys playing some sort of video game where you had to, get together and do something in unison? Oh my God. Finishing the other person's statements. It's not because you're in love. Holy mackerel. Quite the opposite in this circumstance. She's standing by her man in this sense, though. She knows she's going down, or she would otherwise go down, and she did go down. They took them down. Janie, do you know where they took them down? Where they finally caught up to them, arrested them? In an RV, 35-footer, baby, just like yours. Only theirs wasn't in their driveway. But you, right now, aren't living in it anyway, so what the hell? You're back. Things are back to normal finally for you, hon. How could she not be an accessory at this point in time? But another story, another question for another show.
And that was the issue.
We just want to thank everybody.
We really want to thank you guys.
Please, if anybody has seen them, please call, let somebody know.
Call the cops. Call California the City Police Department. Call them and let them know what you've seen, if you see anything. Our boys, they are going to be rambunctious, okay? They are going to be here in this.
You must have the dry mouth.
And I really would like to go in.
See, I knew it since day one. He realized he fucked up right there. It's like a pitcher on the mound, and you wanted to throw it over the plate, and or you didn't get the call, and you're frustrated. Oh, leakage big time. Leakage big time. Put the brakes on, leakage. It's the didn't want to use that there. Not at that point in time. But he doesn't want to admit that he's made a mistake. Although he's told us he's made a mistake through all the other points.
In the houses, but it's not because I want to invade people's privacy. I just want to know if make sure. That's it. Because I don't. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. If you got any questions.
Oh no, you're good.
Oh, okay.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time we're hearing from you guys, and I can't imagine what you guys are going through. I can't even fathom it. For you guys, for people who are thinking that there's some kind of foul play involved. We just spoke to the biological mother. She says she had a conversation with you guys, and that she thinks there's some kind of foul play involved. That she thinks you guys did something.
And that's understandable.
What's your response to that?
That's understandable. I would think the same thing.
Yep.
I mean, that's exactly the point. And if we can find our babies, then guess what? That's no. And that's all I want is to find our babies. That's it. And I talked to her this morning, and I really wanted to tell her that I am completely sorry because we were entrusted with her children, and they came to us, and they became our children. And we named them, and they are our children, and so we want them back. So please, if y'all could get back on what you guys are doing, we should be able to get a hold of somebody, but they took all of our tech, so they wanted to, I guess, just rule us out, which makes sense. That's part of doing this.
See, there's no way. It's so important when you're listening to these statements is, that strong denial is not there in any of these. Like, that's not a strong denial at all. It showed extreme sensitivity. Right?
Investigation. So that's pretty much it.
Have you guys, you talked to the police all last night?
Yes.
So you guys willfully
in avoidance
gave them your
everything.
Technology,
yes.
The car.
Yes.
How did they get a search warrant? Did you guys?
I don't see why they got one, but they got one.
Yeah,
we would have let them take
one,
anything. We would have let them take everything. We let them come in and search with us. We asked them to come do that.
What did they take?
Just tech. And that's it. Like our phones.
From the house, though, did they?
Oh, well, I guess, should I answer that? Or?
Answer it to us, yeah.
Okay. So, into the, okay, and I guess, I don't even know.
I see. Yeah, we seriously felt like we needed to be out here. We did.
So there was some leakage there by that doesn't get mentioned by Trezell. We haven't mentioned that. That's a good catch. This little part right here, he sounds exhausted and resigned. Like he's so not even confident in what he just said because of the amount of backlash that he's getting from Classic and Sincere's real family, biological family, who are put through the ringer, who are discriminated against. But it's not like they're completely not, there was a reason CPS was in the picture and it was just mishandled from the best that I can gather in my most neutral of thoughts. It wasn't, the situation at the time wasn't as important to me as what happened to the kids. You may have a different opinion, but I know the Queen does. She's got a completely different opinion.
Again, we were told the best are out here looking already. Just to stay put, they have more questions. There was literally a cop with us the whole time there.
He had sitting down. We would ask, can we go help? They had to sit down.
He said nope.
He said, no, we got the best out there.
So
we need you guys here in case we have more questions.
I don't want you guys thinking we didn't try. We actually looked before we called the police.
Yes.
And imagine mind-boggling part is the search for information. What happened? Where are they?
Yes.
Et cetera, et cetera.
And we're, yeah.
And just so we are able to present the information correctly, at what time did you guys notice your kids went missing, and at what time were they reported missing to the police?
It's about, I believe, I think it was about 4:30, going on 5. It was getting dark, like I said.
5-ish.
5-ish. That's about it. That's when everything played out.
And then when did you guys call the police to report them missing?
After we searched
Yeah.
a little bit around here, it was dark, so we definitely we got worried.
Would you say it was maybe within an hour, a couple hours?
No, it was within minutes of us getting finished with our search.
Okay.
It was within.
First of all, I don't, looking back on it now, like this story is so desperate too. First of all, where they live in California City, it's bizarre. Right there, nobody knows them. They just moved in, okay? They border the desert. You could literally get lost out there in the desert. But the way that they portray it, there's no way that they could have got to the desert without being seen on any of the video cameras that everybody has around there, even in 2020. It puts AV Watchman's work into new perspective, looking back as to what he actually did with the 2 children and where he disposed of them. They never even considered that. It never even mattered to them in prosecuting them. They had enough. They had enough to convince that jury that they did indeed lie, and they went to great lengths to lie and deceive authorities. That told them all they need to know. But my point in saying that is, at the time that this was going down, you can go still watch it. Maybe put it in the comments section after this video, a link over to AV Watchman's, and you can follow through for some further watching, because he would remember that crazy, I shouldn't say that. This very eccentric woman who lived on her own, like a hobo out in the middle of the desert in this broken down camper out there, watched Trezell in his van come out there and park at great lengths, and he was doing shit. And, they were really on to some key details in this investigation. Their own investigation in that sense, but they put it all onto their YouTube channels in that sense. That was great content. But it gave us a window into some of the behaviors and the activity that goes on out there in the desert. And it's just another world, man. There's people that live out there in communities that are just cut off from the rest of civilization. It's like what I imagine what's left over from like what the hobo community used to be in that sense. When they used to ride trains all around the U.S. It's the same sort of thing, only different sort of setup. They're in the desert. It's not easy living in the desert. But the point to all of that is they had a bead on Trezell's activities, very little activity while he was in the California City community. They moved from Bakersfield in that particular complex, that apartment complex, where most of what happened, or we believe, is where things went wrong for the kids in that sense. They were never at this new house.
In minutes.
What do you guys want people at home to understand about this situation? For them, even speaking about what you guys are feeling is difficult. What do you want them at home to understand about this whole situation?
We're going through it. It's difficult. I mean, everybody's making their own their own conclusions. They don't know anything. We're not sure everything. We're not sure. We said what we knew, and if anybody has seen them or anything, please call the police department.
Would you be willing to provide pictures, or do you have any?
I have older pictures. All my newest were on my phone.
Okay.
a lot of people are speaking of this as, you know, after the math, past tense. I want to talk about your kids in present tense. What kind of boys are these? Tell us about the boys.
Very playful, very rambunctious, and they do love to wrestle. They do love to kind of get rough with each
They're
other.
kids.
They're kids. Of course, they would love to go out, but so during the pandemic, we weren't trying to go, you know, out here. And so we stayed inside. Yes, we did. We searched before we called the cops. That's what we've been saying.
What time did they come up missing?
They came missing right before it got dark. And then I searched that property. I even drove around this neighborhood right here. I even talked to a gentleman on that side, one of those streets over there. I said, did you see some little black kids? You go that way looking for them? That's the way I was going to come, but when I came back home, I decided to call the cops because it was dark. They couldn't have got away that fast.
And why did it take 2 people to go in the house and leave 2 kids out here by themselves? It should have been 1 parent going in and 1 parent right here watching the child, not 2 parents going in the house and leaving 2 little kids out here by themselves for 10 minutes.
No, they were in the backyard, and the back gate was open.
Out the backyard?
And the back gate was open, and I was getting wood from this lot here.
So you guys been unresponsible and left the gate open, left some little kids outside with the gate open.
All right. Sorry, you guys were talking about your boys who you're, you know, I understand. For a mother's intuition, I know you were saying, and we'll get your names after this, but you were saying how you feel like they're in this area. Do you feel the same way? And what is the intuition? What is the sense you get? What do you think happened to your boys? Do you think someone took them? Do you think they're lost? Do you think?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely know they're not walking around. They're not that kind. They do not just.
Oh my God. I definitely know that they're not walking around. That would imply that she recognizes that the boys are no longer alive in that sense.
Roam around, you know, these patches. They definitely, I think definitely would have been picked up or something.
You know, she shares the same lack of commitment Daniel has in that sense. The real hesitation, and really they're avoiding committing linguistically to what they truly believe has happened to the children and their immediate circumstances. Really, don't they all kind of show the exact same thing? They do, don't they? When I mean all of them, I mean like Chris and Leticia, Daniel. They were really lacking commitment, and that's not a good sign for them. That's a damn giveaway. An indicator of deception, they like to refer to it as. And it does matter. Or something. Right? Or something. That's what your mother's intuition tells you, girl? Mm-hmm.
That was my assumption.
Have they ever taken off of the
No.
door?
No.
No.
They've never taken off?
No.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything.
So what do you make of the fact that they are bringing the cadaver dogs in?
Well, I'm actually pretty happy about that because it's been about 3 months I've been asking for them, and it's just been delayed I guess till now. But I know things take time and dogs are hard to get.
So what does this say to you? Because I mean, they are dogs searching for human remains.
Well, I know that it's going to be really hard work now that there's so much vegetation in the woods, but I'm pretty happy that they're going to be able to do it. I even hope that they bring more than one dog if they have access to more than one dog.
So what are you happy about? What do you hope this will bring?
I would just like to see maybe the social media speculation theories and accusations, maybe they're not going to stop, but slow down, because at this point they're getting ridiculous.
So are you thinking that the dogs will go in there and won't find anything?
I know for 100% they won't find anything. I mean, that's probably why they waited this long to do it. It's just to keep the public informed, I guess, that they're hard at work.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think it will rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing?
Ooh, there's some major avoidance right there. He dodged right over one there. Did you catch that? Yeah, it'll prove that the RCMP are working hard. So he was avoiding actually saying what it is that he wanted to say and skipped to blowing smoke up the RCMP's ass over how hard they're working. Interesting.
Yeah, I think it will rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Well, that's an interesting quinky dink. And not Conway, yeah, you're right. It doesn't make any sense. He's avoiding. He wasn't expecting that. He dodged that question.
Do you think it will rule things out?
Yeah, I think it will rule a lot of things out. Rule out that the RCMP are, working hard, and there's no human remains on the property.
Yeah, you see what he did there? Oh, before I figure out what the hell I'm going to say, I want just to remind everybody that the RCMP are working hard. Frickin' Daniel.
Property.
Is there any piece of you that's preparing for the fact, like, what if they do find something?
No, because I didn't do anything. I know Malaya didn't do anything. I know my mother didn't do anything. Those are 3 people on the property.
Can you believe that? Whew. But you know what's interesting about that? Is I feel at this time it's probably tied to his emotions. It's about as emotional as we've seen Daniel get. Look. He's showing some frustration. Look, I'm going to level with you. He's leaning in to her like Ninchi was talking about, with his head as opposed to a more considerate, gesture. He's coercing. He's very coercive in that manner. He's got his big head sticking out. I know Malaya didn't do anything. Like, what's anything exactly? Anything? What do you mean anything? That's like saying or whatever. And stuff. And things. Right? These are the words that you don't ever want to hear in a circumstance like this, let alone have them come out of your mouth in front of a CBC camera. Whoa. It tells you that they have the same, all of the individuals that we've watched tonight have the same desperation. Like, these are the things that you don't anticipate when you're in the heat of the moment. You've decided to obliterate or unalive your family and turn around and lie to the world about it and try to manipulate people as a whole out there. Do you feel he's furious inside, Donna? Probably. I love it when you guys tell me that. I love you guys. You're watching closely. Thank you. Yeah, you're not right. You're wrong, Donna. He's absolutely furious inside. Well, it gives him an opportunity that he knows it's worth it for him, that he can, utilize his time wisely and get his message across and prioritize his own innocence in this circumstance by blaming and projecting onto social media. This is what's very popular. Because, who wouldn't believe that? This is, in the end, where you're going through and experiencing an epic situation of somebody who's just a terrible liar. And it's what's going to happen to Daniel in the end. You can see it now.
After the polygraph exams, they should have known right there. We didn't kill any of the kids, or we didn't kill the kids.
The need to correct yourself right there, that's leakage. What did he have to correct himself over there? The correction didn't even make sense. He didn't actually correct himself, but he repeated himself. But it was in a corrective manner. There's no possible way we can believe a person when they come begging and telling you that they're telling you the truth, like Daniel and Janie are. No, that would be the thing that you don't want to do. That's completely against everything that you get taught in police training.
Why do you think that they're not possibly, like, why that they didn't possibly wander into the woods?
Well, with the amount of resources that were used, and I mean, for everything from drones to helicopters to classified technology and all the searchers on the ground. I mean, searchers on bicycles, they did everything. On the pipeline, they took in ATVs and Argos and side-by-sides. They used everything they could.
Tell me about, what do you make at this point of the investigation?
He's got nothing. He's got nothing. You know that there's really nothing. Very uncomfortable.
Of what RCMP have been doing or not doing. What's your stance on all of that?
Well, I would like to go in for another whole round of polygraph exams. I mean, that would be, and maybe bring some new people in that are doing the polygraph exams. But I know they're hard.
Again, he's got to overemphasize this valuable prop of his that somehow props up his innocence. And note, it's all about attempting, without saying it directly, clearing him of any wrongdoing in the disappearance. He's not even come out and said that yet, but that's really what he's talking about. That's what's taking priority. His go-to. It's not looking very well.
Hard at work. I've filled notebooks with just trying to help them find leads or give them any kind of small detail, answer as many questions as I can, or but I'm doing everything I can. I usually try to meet with them 3 times a week, and sometimes they're not around for that, or phone calls or texts, but whatever we can do.
So I guess to bring it back to the cadaver dogs, since you've been asking for it for so long, I guess, you don't have any information on how that will happen?
No, I don't even know where quite they're going to start searching, or where they're going to do. Are they going to expand out onto the properties? The property there is fairly small. It's only 2 acres. So.
Yeah. Will it be the whole 8.5 that they searched previously?
I don't know. That's a lot. That would be quite a few. That'd be a couple weeks probably on foot doing that.
Are they talking about acres or kilometers? Like, this guy's laughing all of a sudden as though the question needs to be shrugged off and isn't pertinent. 8 acres isn't even that big. It's not that much property. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if it would probably take him this long to do that. As though he's an authority to even speak on the topic. Why the fuck are you even talking about what the RCMP are doing? What does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look at the documents, and some of the other stuff RCMP has said or done, there's 70,000 drone photos that were taken during the search.
Whoa, just popped into his mind. He's putting on a pantomime for you. Look at the hands. He's like on a Nerf aircraft carrier. A Fisher-Price aircraft carrier.
That's a lot of photos.
That's almost just a blatant, listen, there's 70,000 photos of drones. That's a lot of photos. Think about how long it would take one person to go through those. Just imagine, conceptualize how long it would take you. Well, that's what you have software for, son. To recognize patterns. And all they found was a coyote and a beaver. So what was even the point of bringing it up in the fucking first place then, Sunshine? Look at what he's saying to us with all of these statements. Without even acknowledging it, he's talking as though everybody already knows it's all about him, Daniel Martell, and all of this, when he's not even related. He's got the CBC referring to him as family. So what do they really think in that circumstance? Like, how have they let Daniel get to a point of comfort? It has to be from believing every single thing that he says and sympathizing and simping for him. You know what I mean? You have to just pander to the bullshit to let it all out until you can bullshit no more. And then it's impossible not to recognize the sort of soup that you're sitting in.
I mean, they had to review and do everything, so they would have found some kind of something there.
So vague, all these vague statements. They would have found something. Why is it every time that there's key points in a sentence that this is why you tune in, and there's no beef. You tune in to get some information, and they give you words like something, and things, and it's, and these loose references. Oh yeah, that's an indicator of deception. That's right. Some of you may call them a no-brainer. That's a no-brainer indicator of deception, number 99.
Or even when they brought in classified technology, they scanned the whole area. They ever found a beaver and a coyote. That's all they found.
Probably got that right from the back of some sort of Fisher-Price toy at the Toys R Us.
So why do you think this step is necessary?
This is classified technology.
Well, it just rules out one and brings the book a little bit closer to being closed. I mean, one chapter at a time.
How have you been doing?
Well, I'm not going to say I'm doing well, but doing better than I was at the start, I guess.
Tell me.
Do you think that Heather here really actually cares how Daniel feels? Do you think she really cares? Or do you think she's putting that on for the sake of her producers and editor at the CBC, her bosses? Yeah, I'd say the latter, probably. You've got to appear sensitive. Ask him how he's doing a little bit. Oh, Daniel allows him to really touch home. Well, I can't say that I'm doing all right, girl. You trying to ask me out? Are you trying to take me out for a steak dinner, honey, baby? Well, giddy up. Daniel's so thirsty. Well, I just love the way that you ask me that way. I feel so comfortable with you asking me questions. That's so very important to me. A person who's trying to get away with a double homicide. Oh, was that out loud? I mean, no.
It's physically exhausting, mentally exhausting, emotionally exhausting, but every day, you wake up and it's a new day. New hope. And just keep going forward.
Tell me about the toll, like what you were just mentioning earlier about social media.
Yeah, social media has been quite
circus, baby.
A circus, we'll call it.
Circus, yeah.
But I can't control them, and they're free to judge, but maybe just use a little bit of this before they start typing or use an AI for pictures.
I mean, we're coming up on, is it coming up to 5 months?
Yeah, in the second, so yeah, it's less than 2 weeks.
Like, did you ever imagine that we'd be here still talking about this?
No. I thought with the amount of resources and amount of different units for RCMP working on it, everything from dive.
He loves just to go back to the RCMP and tell you how hard they're not working. Wasn't the cadaver dogs brought in to prove how hard the RCMP aren't working? What is it you're trying to tell the world out here? Why couldn't they have edited that out for you?
5 teams, the canine units, and they have dedicated teams just for social media. They have a dedicated guy that just sits there and watches highway cameras. So,
what's it been like for you now that we're back to September, school's back, and seeing the school bus go by every day?
Yeah, no, it's hard. There's quite a few school buses that go by, and There's a lot of kids in the area I see, and it's sad. It's not just sad.
You know, it's funny when he uses that term sad, and aside from the fact that he's minimizing, what the emphasis that he puts on the word sad, it's almost like the level of volume turned up. He was speaking into that microphone. His jaw was so low, like he just pulled that out of left field, like he just fabricated that, like that's fresh off the press. Sad. Yeah, it's sad. Oh, perfect word in the moment. That tells you how confident he is in fabricating, but he still doesn't get it because he's dumb AF. Oh, see, Taylor wants to let the RCMP know hello for the people that are nonstop watching social media. Boy, why don't let me know next time a position opens up in the RCMP for watching social media nonstop. I'm already doing it for free. Well, kind of. Like that's just some sort of fantasy job at the RCMP. I believe I don't want to get any further than this, thank you. Can I be a captain? Can I be a captain at watching social media? Lieutenant Colonel? I want to be a lieutenant colonel in the RCMP, Special Division Social Media, YouTube. Full time, baby.
Sad for Jack and Lily, but it's sad for...
It's like maybe we could bring back William Shatner to play alongside me in the TV show. Bring him back at 102 years old at this point in time for another round out of... Remember he did it in Hill Street Blues? Or what was his other cop show he was in? Fucking brutal. I do like William Shatner, though, in ways I used to. Before I heard that recent 911 call, I know that little left me a little bit shaken.
For everybody who knew Jack and Lily, they had friends, they went to school, and it's just they had teachers that seen them every day, and it's just hard on everybody.
I know we ask you this every single time, but why do you keep doing it?
For Jack and Lily. I don't do this for myself because I'm going to see this online later and people are going to analyze it. Every time I move my hands, every time I open my mouth, every facial expression, they analyze everything right down to a T. I know that.
What would you like the public to know?
Daniel, you should start putting face tattoos on that say like, fuck you, YouTube, and things like this.
I want the public to know if anyone has any information, just please come forward.
Oh boy, is he avoiding like all get out right there, isn't he? I want you guys to know the same old. Call the RCMP if you know anything. Don't bother me. Call authorities. That's what I want to tell the world. Don't bother me with your garbage. Listen, I'm coming out with the truth. You have to believe me in that sense.
Call the RCMP, call your local police department, call Crime Stoppers.
Do you still think they're still alive?
Yes, I hope so. I mean, that's all we have is hope.
That was to the question if whether or not he thought Jack and Lily were still alive, and he thinks so. Can you believe it? Well, it falls in a line with the ridiculousness of everything else that he's presented us. There's one little problem here. There's one small problem to all of this, though, Daniel. Is that you're the only one with all of the information. You're the only one with the answers to everything everybody needs to know in all of this. And you can't change that. No matter how hard you try in front of the camera, no matter how many times you deflect back to how the RCMP are doing in their investigation, or what sort of resources they've allotted to. Like, what does any of that have to do with what went on with Jack and Lily and why they're missing and what happened to them? And hope is all that you have, because the logic side of your mind realizes that there's no possible way that they would have survived on their own independently for 5 months now. That's outrageous. It's outrageous. Friends, I'm going to shut it down. Hopefully Mike Demand is going live. It's 9:42 Eastern on Friday night. We'll see you back tomorrow, Saturday, to continue on the good times. Hopefully you learned a little bit, or you recognize something new during this small comparison of different media interviews that these poor wretches of the soul get into. There's some similarities. We'll see you guys Saturday.
Da 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 da